So far, the president's been acting alone without specific authorization from Congress, and congressional leaders are just 8 weeks away from the midterm elections. Some strange political bedfellows seeing eye to eye on this. My next guest says a, quote, unholy alliance between liberal Democrats and conservative Republicans together are coming together on this. Democrat Engel is the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And, sir, good morning and welcome back here to America's Newsroom. You just came from a meeting of the Democratic caucus. Where are Democrats on this when it comes to military action, sir?
Well, I think Democrats understand that ISIS is a threat, and Democrats are waiting to hear what the president is saying when he addresses the nation tomorrow. There's going to be a meeting today between the president and the four leaders, two in the House and two in the Senate, and I think we'll know more. But I would say that the general feeling is that the president ought to come to Congress for some kind of an authorization. The authorization that we had previously in Iraq under President Bush is certainly long expired. And people, by and large, I think, believe that the president needs to get the authorization from Congress. A couple of very specific questions here now. Are you saying come to Congress before you continue airstrikes against ISIS in Iraq today? Well, not necessarily. The War Powers Act does give the president 60 days to act on his own, and as you know, he has been invoking that in a number of different things. For me, it's not that important, the timing of it, because I don't really want the timing of it to hold us back from what I believe is a very real threat from ISIS. And you have been, to your credit, very public about the threat you see. And I've watched your comments now for several weeks, and you've been leading the charge in many ways on behalf of Democrats in the House. And now you have Senator Ted Cruz, who supports and believes the same thing essentially you do, and you call this an unholy alliance. I guess it doesn't have to be so unholy, does it, when you're going after terrorists who have beheaded Americans on video? Well, I don't really call it an unholy alliance. That's what people have been saying and have been saying to me. I think that each member of Congress has to make up his or her mind as to where we go forward. To me, it's very simple. When the Russians were thrown out of Afghanistan many years ago, we sort of gloated and then looked the other way and created a void. And the Taliban moved in and hosted al-Qaeda, and what we got was September 11th, 2001. I believe the analogy here is exactly the same. If we allow ISIS to gather in both Syria and Iraq and not disrupt them and create sort of this no man's land where they can gather and get stronger, we're going to have more attacks on our homeland and on our allies' homeland in Europe. So this is something, to me, that's in the national interest of the United States. Throw away the politics. Throw away Democrat and Republican and all the other nonsense that we hear. This is an American issue, and sure as we're talking today, if we do nothing, ISIS will strike and attack us on the homeland. Two specific questions. Does the president believe that? Well, I believe he does. He has, in the past several days, helped put together an alliance of NATO. And by the way, Bill, I believe NATO is being... We get to NATO in a moment, but you know what we reported a week ago, that in the presidential daily brief for almost a year, it was reported that the ISIS threat was growing. And what did we do? What did the commander-in-chief do? As best as we can tell, nothing. Why is that? Well, what explains that? Well, look, I think what's important is not what happened or didn't happen. It's what he's doing now. And I'm happy that he's putting together this coalition. You know, I have been talking for almost 2 years about arming the Free Syria Army in Syria. We didn't do that. I think that was a mistake. But I think now we have NATO is being tested. The NATO alliance is being tested, first of all, by Putin in Ukraine, and we need to be together on that as well. But also in terms of ISIS. I think NATO's finest hour was in 1999 in Kosovo when we prevented ethnic cleansing. I think that NATO has a role to play in the destruction of ISIS. Okay. And we'll see where NATO is on this, because it appeared, even as last week, there are many fractured opinions on that side of the Atlantic. Sir, thank you for your time today. I apologize we don't have more time, but we'll bring you back. Engel, Democrat from New York. Thank you, sir. You're welcome.